some bushes, but you'll see that it has a very stripy set of back legs. These stripes will make a lot of people associate this animal with a zebra. However, it's actually not related to a zebra at all. Instead, the okapi is the only living relative of the giraffe. Just like giraffes, okapi have very long tongues. They're about 13 to 16 inches long. They're also known as prehensile, meaning they use them kind of like a limb. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we get a bit further up the road and hopefully spot some giraffes. So in the meantime, let's see what else we can spot in this forest. Okay, it looks like we'll have a few things to see as we go a little bit further up the road. One thing, we're starting to see a very large bird. Right now it's about to be directly ahead, but it's coming up on the right side. This is called a saddle-billed stork. Saddle-billed storks have a yellow saddle-shaped spot on their bill, so not too hard to guess where they get that name from, right? Maybe hard to imagine, though, is this bird's wingspan. It's about 9 feet wide. That's about as wide as that canopy over our heads right now.
Do some flying for it.
Alright folks, it looks like there's a black rhino just out here on the left side. Get a closer look in just a second here as we inch along. We should start to get a view of it right about now. Now black rhinos are identified not by their color, but rather by the shape of their lips. So this rhino here has a pointed upper lip. Fully grown black rhinos weigh in at about 3,000 pounds. So of course, very large animal up here. Sometimes you may notice a variation in the colors and textures of a rhino's skin. You can definitely see that comparing his head to the rest of his body, right? They will usually get that from mud. They roll around in mud every single day. As they do, it'll cool them off, giving themselves a nice layer of protection from the sun as well. But also, folks, there are 2 antelope species out on this hill to the left. The tannish colored ones are greater kudu. The ones with horns are bongos. Both male and female bongos will have horns, whereas only male kudu will. So it looked like it was all female kudu there. Well, as I said, folks, that is starting to bring us on towards our next stop. This next stop will be the Safi River. Alright, now folks, the first thing we'll see out here on the right side will be some pink-backed pelicans, these larger white birds along these islands here. Pink-backed pelicans have, you guessed it, pink backs, especially in the skin of the backs. So don't see it too much unless they're raising up those wings. Let's see if we can spot anything else out here on the north side. So keep your eyes on this water as we go along here. Any dark spots moving around or lots of air coming up to the surface will be 2 of the big things we're looking for signs of hippo activity. Now, not seeing a whole lot just yet. The water's looking pretty calm. So let's make our way a bit further upstream. We may get some more later here. If we don't happen to get any luck with these hippos, no worries. There's one more way to spot them outside of this safari. You can check out the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on as we get a bit closer to the end of our adventure. With that said, right now I will let you know that there is an underwater hippo viewing area on that trail. Alright, with that said, let's see here. I think it's still, unfortunately, looking pretty quiet. So let's just keep pressing on. We're going to make our way over this bridge here, and as we do, we'll see quite a few Nile crocodiles out here. Hawks don't like to move around a whole lot, as you may have noticed, and this is for good reason. By holding still, they can throw up lots and lots of energy. That's energy they absolutely will. So as far as rubber crocodiles go, we're all just resting, getting back as much of that energy as they possibly can.
That's okay.
Alrighty, folks, of course you may have noticed we have a little bit of traffic here. Traffic on this preserve is more often than not caused by the animals themselves. They do have the right of way, not us, so they're able to cross the road, stroll down the road, sometimes block the road at will. We're very much at their mercy sometimes. I was listening to the radio for a second there. I didn't hear any word on what might be causing this traffic. Seems like we're getting a little bit of stop and go here, so we should be making our way down there pretty soon. We are starting to see a very large tree coming up on the right side. That's going to be that baobab tree. It's one of the smaller ones we'll see out there today. Generally speaking, they can hold tens of thousands of gallons of water on their inside. As we start to roll down this hill, we will get a beautiful overlook view of the savannah. The savannah is home to some of the most popular and well-known animals of Africa. So with any luck, hopefully we can spot some zebras, some giraffes, maybe even some elephants out here. Let's just name a few of the animals that call this place home, though. So have to wait and see what all we can spot. Here on the right, we're going to see one of the first. I know there's a lot of exciting stuff happening out there, but real quick, there are those very small antelope out there on the right side. Those are called a springbok. As small as they are, these are actually full-grown adults, and they are very well known for a behavior called prunking. Prunking is where they will jump in the air repeatedly while on the run, sometimes reaching about as high as 6 feet vertically on each jump. You can also get about 13 feet through the air on each of those jumps as well. It looks like a side giraffe soaring along out there in the distance. Chances are we'll get a closer look at it in just a little bit. Something else going on out here, we'll start to see a lot of these Ankoli cattle. Ankoli cattle horns, very, very large, of course. They're also very, very hollow, so kind of deceptive in that way. Not nearly as heavy as they seem. Also start to see a pretty big clearing out here on the left side. I want to see if we can spot any animals here. Looks like there are some African painted dogs, or at least one I could see in front of that den there. They are group hunters, though, so it'd be surprising to only see one, so let's be on the lookout for some more here. Now, painted dogs are often mistaken for hyenas, two different species, though. They're both group hunters, but painted dogs are actually the most successful hunter in all of Africa. That's by a pretty wide margin, too. It's because of this higher success rate they can afford a luxury most other group hunters cannot. That's after a successful hunt, the group will let the sick and the elderly eat first before anybody else does. So may have hit a little bit of stop here. They stop here once again. A little bit of stop and go, actually, from a little bit. There's another antelope species to see that we'll get a closer look at in just a little bit here. I think right now we're kind of following that giraffe we saw earlier up the road. So I think it is just rolling up the road in front of one of these trucks ahead of us here. So that's why we're starting to move a little slower once again. Starting to see some sable antelope coming up on the left side here. Sables are very territorial, so you won't often see them mingling with any other antelope species. They're actually so territorial to the point that if a predator were to come after them, they would not run away like most antelope would. But in fact, they would stand their ground and defend themselves. They really are just that stubborn.
Zebra.
Alright, now as we're making a bit further up the road here, we still are on the lookout for the giraffe. Hopefully more than just one, by the way. They're pretty social animals. They typically stick together in fairly sizable groups. So let's see if we can spot some more as we go along. But we're also going to start seeing some wildebeest. Speaking of social animals, wildebeest are very much herd animals. Their herds at their largest recorded sizes have had about 1.5 million members to them. Probably not quite that many here, but we're going to start seeing a good few dotting this hill as we keep working our way forward. Actually, the second highest population mammal on Earth behind us humans. So in a sense, it's almost not too surprising these herds can get so large. Looks like, folks, in just a little bit here, we are going to get a pretty close-up look at least 3 Maasai tribes. It's about some more, though, like I said, so we'll have to see how many we can find up here. We call a group of giraffes a tower, so tower 3 so far here. These are, again, Maasai giraffes. They have very sharp, jagged edges to their spines. That's the name we will identify them. The cool thing about giraffes is that they're pretty rarely spotted laying down. You'll see that just occasionally on this reserve. That's just because they know they don't really have any predators to worry about here, so they'll tend to take it a little more easy from time to time. But regardless of the situation, standing is just more comfortable for them. So among other things, they will sleep standing up, but they really just spend the vast majority of their lives standing overall. Speaking of sleep, giraffes only sleep for about 30 minutes out of the entire day. That will not be all at once either. Instead, they'll just sleep for a few minutes at a time, several times throughout the day, basically operating solely off of power naps. It's pretty impressive. That said, folks, we're starting to approach elephant country. So with any luck, we could spot some African elephants pretty soon here. I'm starting to see some mandrills, or at least one mandrill out here on the left side. This is a male, which we can tell just based on the size. It's a bit larger and bulkier. You'll find the typical female to be. But both will have that bright red and blue coloration on their faces, just like Rafiki, as you may have seen there. Now, otherwise looking fairly quiet out here. I want to take one more look at a little break in the trees coming up on the right side here, see if we can spot anything here. Still looking pretty quiet. So let's keep working our way forward here, deeper into elephant country. Now, something to keep in mind when you're looking for elephants is that they have very sensitive skin. And this means a lot for them, broadly speaking, right? But for the sake of spotting them, this means that they can get sunburned. Today hasn't been a very sunny day, which is kind of good news for us. During a consistently bright, sunny day, elephants will be spending most of their time around those big groups of trees that will give them no shade, right? Now, when they're around those, it can make it a little bit harder to spot them, or at least see them clearly. But I feel like today they've been a little less consistent, right? They've been a little bit more out in the open, moving around a bit more. Hopefully this means that for us, we're going to get some better views of them than usual. We'll just have to wait and see here. You never know with these guys. In the meantime, though, we are making our way through this red clay pit. There could be some good signs of elephant activity here, some footprints in the ground. Looks like some tusk marks in the clay on either side. So hopefully we can take this as a sign we'll start to see something soon here. Let's see. Okay, at a glance, still not seeing much just yet. Well, let's keep working our way a bit further up the road here. There's a few spots where they could be sort of hidden away here. And elephants, of course, have very long trunks, as we all know. We're actually going to start seeing one of them way out there on the left. These trunks can move very articulately, twist and curl just about any way these animals need. Also, of course, quite strong. Well, all this is true because these trunks are loaded with muscles. In fact, there's more muscles in an elephant's trunk alone than any human has in their entire body. Folks, it seems we have hit some traffic once again here. I haven't heard over the radio what might be causing this one, but I'll be giving it a listen. Now, we did see the one elephant strung along. I believe I see another one a bit further back there, maybe kind of blocked behind some rocks for most of you guys, but once we do start picking up speed again, we'll hopefully start to get some more views of them. Something you may notice elephants doing fairly often is they will flap their ears. That's a very common and important behavior for these animals because their ears are loaded with blood vessels. So as they flap them, a lot of cooler air runs underneath. That cooler air will cool down some of that blood. And that blood will then, of course, circulate throughout the rest of their body, bringing their whole body temperature down pretty significantly overall. That will be the most prominent source of cooling. Those ears do serve other useful purposes for these animals, though. For one thing, they are very strong, sensitive listening tools. They're also pretty useful, though, for displays of aggression. And they're meaning that for a few reasons. One could be predators, another could be other elephants. Whatever the case may be, though, if they encounter some kind of threat in the wild, they can stand their ground or charge at that threat. But they'll also spread those ears way out to the sides and hold them there. And also, that will make them appear quite a bit larger from the front, and thus more intimidating. So we'll start to see these greater flamingos, of course, out here on the left. They have that beautiful pink color, as we all know, but they do not have this color at birth. Instead, they'll have to gain it over the course of their entire lives, and they can do this using a chemical called beta-carotene. The chemical is found in their diet. The diet mostly consists of brine, shrimp, and krill. They're very small creatures. You may notice a few of them eating that stuff now. Whenever they dip their beaks or their heads into that water, they'll suck through that water and filter out that food from it. They'll filter it out pretty easily. They do have a dense set of bristles in between the tops of those beaks. Those bristles can catch that food pretty easily as the water continues to flow through. And it'll cost a strainer. Looks like we are starting to see a little bit of a shift in the scenery in this area ahead here. With that could come a big change of the types of animals we're going to see. With that said, I'm starting to see a pretty big mud wallow out here on the left side. And while it's not an animal, it is a sign of one to me. Hopefully that means we'll spot some rhinos in the area. As rhinos of all kinds roll around in mud. But I think if we'll find any out here, it'll likely be white rhinos. The reason I say that is white rhinos in particular love to graze. They eat grass pretty much exclusively, and you may notice a lot of the grass in this area is pretty short or just missing altogether. So that will point at a lot of white rhinos being around here. I don't see any just yet, of course, but hopefully we'll get some luck as we go along here. It's not the only thing we're looking for in this area. We could spot quite a few other animals. So let's just keep a keen eye out here. We are going to start seeing at least one cheetah. Be on the lookout for more. You never know when we may spot some others. Now, cheetahs are very fast animals, of course. Oh, yeah, it looks like 3 of them there, actually. They can run up to about 60 miles per hour. That is a 6-0. Makes them the fastest land animal in the world. They're also known as diurnal, which is the opposite of nocturnal. So the most active during the day, and will typically sleep at night, just like us humans. Kind of an unusual trait for them, though. Most big cats are nocturnal. That's worth keeping in mind as we go forward here. Hopefully we get spots of nocturnal big cats a bit further up ahead. At this rock formation here, called a copie. Copies will sometimes have lions hanging out on them. The thing with lions is they are nocturnal, with most nocturnal animals, right now is not the best time of day to be spotting them, right? That said, though, there's kind of a trick to this with lions, and that's that they actually just spend about 20 hours out of the entire day resting. So for them, it's not really so much a day-night thing. It's more so just them deciding to rest where we will be able to see them. That's not always going to be the case, so I never guarantee that we'll see them. Never count them out either, though. So yeah, we'll put a pin in that. We're going to start seeing some other animals in the meantime. Looks like 3 different species. So firstly, we have some antelope in the area. These are waterbuck, the shaggy-looking antelope here. Of course, those white rhinos that we were talking about a little bit earlier. And it looks like a female ostrich there to the right side as well. I know it's a female because she has a grayish feathers, whereas the males are more of a dark blackish color. And folks, we are starting to see those 2 lions up on this copies of water as well. So female pretty close to us there with their back to the lions. Male lions face as well. In a lion's pride, the females do the majority of the hunting. Males typically stay to defend the pride. In terms of the male is pretty well equipped for that. That large mane around his head is much more thick and heavy than it is fluffy. So a very nice natural shield for defense against rival prides. Let's have folks, I'm starting to see at least one other species we haven't seen yet. Just come up on the left side here. Oh yeah, there we go. At least one warthog. I think there's a few of them out here now. But yeah, there they are. The warthogs are the largest burrowing animal in the whole world. Those burrows down there are pretty large to manage. Looking about themselves, using their very large white tusks like a shovel. So if they do find a burrow left behind by another animal, they may not be very picky. They may just move right on into that one instead. Looks very nice. Look at these rhinos out there. Once again, rhinos across the board are nearsighted. So from here, these 2 can absolutely see us. Maybe not super clearly from a bit further back, but in either case, they can definitely hear us very clearly. In fact, that one that's grazing over by the waterbuck, you may notice its ear pointing directly at our truck right now. But also just move around a lot in general as they gather all the information they can about their surroundings. Now, ostriches are birds, of course, so they have wings, of course, but they won't use them for flight. Instead, they'll use them for balance. They do need that for a few reasons, or really one main reason, and that's that they are very fast runners. They can run up to about 40 miles per hour. That is a 4-0. So they will spread those wings out to the sides as they're hitting those higher speeds. It'll allow them to keep their footing. And yep, we did see some ostrich eggs back there. We only saw females out here as well, or maybe just one female. But in either case, they will lay those eggs pretty regularly, just like a chicken would. So not too surprised to see those pop up there. That said, folks, that is starting to bring us towards our next and sadly final stop. This will be the Magati Glen. This is where we'll find the warden's post. And it looks like some of the warden's furry little friends as well. Some Nigerian goats here. These goats are fairly popular pets in some parts of the world, and an increasingly popular farm animal all around the whole planet.
Aww.
That's largely thanks to their size. They're quite small, so require less food and therefore money to take care of the goat species. If a farmer in Africa has a few of these goats, that farmer will sell their milk and cheese products into the local food economy. That will reduce the need for hunting local wildlife for food. That's kind of a 3-way win-win. The goats get a nice safe home. The farmer makes extra money off of those goats. The wildlife, last but not least, is to enjoy some more natural, peaceful wildlife. Now, folks, that is starting to bring us towards the end of our adventure out there today. If you enjoyed seeing the animals you saw out there, and you want to see some more, I do have a few recommendations for you. Firstly, I will let you know that no 2 safaris are the same. So if you were to join us again today, or on another day of your visit, there's a good chance you may spot some animals you didn't get to see at all this time. You also may witness some animal behaviors you've never seen before. Alternatively, Animal Kingdom has many other ways to spot creatures all around the whole planet. One of those is just outside the exit of this ride. That's the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. You can find gorillas, of course, as well as meerkats and an aviary with over 200 African birds in it. It's also a similar trail to that one over in Asia. It's called the Maharaja Jungle Trek. There you can find some Sumatran tigers, Komodo dragons, and some very large, very beautiful fox bats. Both of those trails are about a 20 to 30 minute walk through each with no wait to get into either one. So you can knock them both off your list pretty easily. There's also quite a few more animals on both of those trails that I did not get a chance to mention. So those are both definitely worth checking out. Folks, very sadly, a lot of those animals we saw there today, and a lot you can see around this whole park, are endangered to various degrees. That said, there are conservation efforts taking place all around the whole planet in order to protect animals just like these in their homes. And if you'd like, you can actually contribute directly to some of these efforts from this very park by donating to the Disney Conservation Fund at any merchandise location in the park. With that said, folks, we are about to depart here, so before we do, I will not say goodbye. Those are far too sad and far too final. Instead, I'll leave you all with Kwaherini. That's a Swahili phrase, and that phrase means to go well. Hope we do go well there today. Again, my name is Andrew. You folks have been wonderful, so thank you so much for joining me out there today. My friends, on that right-hand side, we thought your hands, arms, feet, and legs.